What are innocuous things about being a woman that you've had to explain to a man? Just little things about regular life that feel like it has always been obvious to you, but was unknown or confusing to a man. We don't pee out of our vagina. I can't just buy something in my size and call it good. I have pants that fit me in sizes 12 through 16. I have dresses in M, L, and XL and in sizes 10 through 14. I have tops in S, M, L, and XL. There are some styles that will never fit me without tailoring no matter what the size because of my body shape. That most of us started experiencing sexual harassment as children. That they do know people who have had abortions, even if they think they haven't. My BF thought that pads stick to your vagina like a band-aid. Being constantly vigilant, having situational awareness. My partner just goes through life feeling safe and secure. The number of times I've pointed out sketchy shit to him that was just not on his radar has been astonishing. Even just being aware of where others are. I never run into or accidentally block people out in public because I'm aware of where everyone is in relation to me. My partner is just oblivious to his position in relation to others. Your bra size isn't only dependent on your cup size. Periods aren't actually monthly, as in January, February, March. They can be, but often that's just coincidence. You can have 2 periods in 1 month and you can have no periods in 1 month. How little they know about periods. When I had been dating my boyfriend for a couple of months, I apologized for being upset and that it was just because of my period. He then asked, "Didn't you have your period last month?" He thought that women menstruated for an entire month, and then didn't for the other 11 months of the year. He thought that periods were an annual thing. I was so shocked. That the clothes he thinks are super cute for me are also super uncomfortable. One time a guy asked me why sometimes women paint just the middle of their nail all sloppy. I had to explain that we paint the entire fingernail but it chips off, leaving the middle. I had a guy who thought blonde women deliberately dyed their roots dark, even though it looked bad. That my body isn't a set of buttons to mash in the right order to get the prize. The exact same thing may not turn me on every time, etc. I have to believe there are men out there that this is also true for, but some guys decode they have figured out the pattern and refuse to vary. That me being wet does not mean I am horny. As an adult cervical fluid. The amount of men who have thought vaginas are either dry or wet from being turned on is truly alarming to me. No, I'm just ovulating. The feeling of pulling out a dry tampon. That we use toilet paper every time we go to the bathroom and therefore will go through more than men. That I want to know details about what to expect before traveling or going to an invitation. Yeah, that influences what outfit I choose, which shoes and so on. There is nothing worse than one birthday where I wore pumps to be beautiful. Then I was asked to join a walk. It went a bit uphill and downhill over grass and streets. My feet hurt. Now my BF knows that it's a struggle between looking good and being flexible for sporty activity. That I have to change out of my wet swimsuit before we leave the beach. My husband asked me why I don't park in the middle of the driveway when he's out of town. I told him I don't want anyone to think I'm not always expecting him home. That foreplay has a very real purpose. Real sex is nothing like porn. The last guy the first dated, I tried explaining to him that going straight for the hole is counterproductive to genuinely good sex. One night, I made him slow down, just lay on the couch, cuddling, touching me, not even in a fully sexual way. Afterwards, he said, "Wow, I had no idea what a difference that makes. It really felt totally different. I was like, this is what I've been trying to freaking tell you." He admitted that he learned sex from porn. No one ever tried to give him any direction before. Wasn't even aware just how many positions you could get yourself into either. He's almost 40. Ada. He also won't leave me alone now even though I broke up with him over a month ago. My husband's underwear drawer, a stack of 2 packages of the exact same color, style underwear that he's worn for over a decade that he just replaces as needed because it's always in stock and doesn't change. A couple different styles of black and white undershirts that he wears based on daily preference. My underwear drawer bras of different styles and cuts and underwear in probably a dozen different styles that matches specific outfits. Doesn't pinch, or smooths or whatever else it needs to do to make an outfit look good. And there's specific ones that go with specific clothes. That I have to have my keys out before I get to my front door so I'm not awkwardly fumbling for them and making myself vulnerable. That I can't feel the tampon inside me, and no, it doesn't turn me on. And if I do feel the tampon, it's extremely uncomfortable. I'll go first. A bit ago, my BF asked why I and other women he has known keep the plastic wrapper from pads. I explained to him that it is a courtesy thing, because the wrapper is good for rolling up the used pad. It helps conceal it as well as contain some of the odor. He was surprised, since it made perfect sense, but that it never would have occurred to him. Hang on, do you keep the first one too? I just use the wrapper from the next one I'm about to use. I don't keep any 'cause there's always the wrapper from the next? Have I been doing this wrong for 25 odd years? Yeah, I do it this way too. Then just wrap the last pad in toilet tissue. That periods aren't sexual and fun, that we don't think about our vaginas all day, that we aren't the male gaze stereotype of makeup and dresses, that not liking girly things is actually fairly common, that we fought hard for sex-segregated spaces because we need safety that men cannot understand. That walking home late at night in the dark isn't a fucking option. That we always have to be paying attention to our surroundings. My ex told me I could go on a jog alone at night and was confused when I had to explain to him that that was a wildly dangerous idea for a woman. Also that we started getting sexually harassed at shockingly young ages, 6, 7/8, getting catcalled by adult men. That I can't just put it in my pocket. There's no pockets. Yeah, I know it looks like a pocket, it's not. Okay, yes, this one does have a pocket that can fit exactly 3/4 or1 chapstick, and even those aren't guaranteed not to fall out if I bend over, switch between standing, sitting, remove, adjust the clothing to use the washroom, or just walk. People who have only ever worn men's clothing take their pockets for granted. My 2-year-old nephew has onesies with functional pockets, like WTAF? Why we need a trash can next to the toilet. Our condo has a door separating the toilet and shower from the sinks, and he moved the trash can under the sink, instead of next to the toilet, where it was. Thought it was genius. I had to explain to him why we need to at least have a trash can right next to the toilet, and why that's important when a woman lives in the house. Trash can with a bin liner and a lid. I had a couple of guy friends start a brewery and had the honor of informing them that they could either provide a small trash can in each stall of the women's room or brace themselves for ongoing plumbing issues. Lol. You getting a boner when looking at woman or girl does not mean she is trying to do that to you. Even if she is dressed up looking nice. She is probably trying to impress her friends or a very specific boy or man and not you. Just because you feel something when looking at a woman does not mean that she is trying to make you feel that way. So many men just do not get this. They think everything is about them. Everything women do is so deliberate and targeted specifically to them. Oh, she wore those short shorts, she knows what she is doing. Especially vomitrocious when it's a very young girl just trying to get some pimply boy in her class to talk to her and a grown man who is a complete stranger takes it as an invitation like, oh yeah, she wants to do this to me. She loves me looking at her like this. See also. Men since the beginning of time demanding that women smile on command because it looks good to me. They are unable to imagine a woman existing for any other purpose than to be entertaining and attractive to me who is the center of the universe. That unwanted attention isn't a compliment. That it's not safe to go to a weekend music festival alone. My BF doesn't understand why I don't go by myself. My BF didn't know that vaginas stretch and go back to their regular size after sex. Also, it's kind of cute, but every time I get my period he always asks, does it hurt? He, like many men for some reason, thought that tampon, pad size was related to vaginal size. My dad and a male friend both used to ask me why I would straighten my hair before bed in high school, assuming that when I woke up it would be curly, wavy again. I had to tell them that water or humidity in the air would do that, but sleeping on it would not. I'm sure there's tons more that I'm forgetting, but these are what I can think of off the top of my head. Lol. Why my mood changed before, during and after my period, why pregnancy affected my moods and thoughts process, and why I don't wear the same sizes for everything, including for the type of shoes. If I'm in a new area, I always look for other women walking or jogging out on the street, especially if they're alone. This will indicate to me if the area is safe or not. Periods aren't necessarily at the end of the month. Something that still hasn't settled in his head: the fact that when you give birth you can tear all the way to your asshole, that you can, pretty commonly, get diastasis recti, or other conditions that can become lifelong. When I told him these things, he said, "You love exaggerating these things just to justify that you don't want kids." No woman who's had a kid that I know has said these things besides his mom or whatever. He had never spoken to a pregnant woman, new mom in his life, let alone about their vaginas.